change that. We shall change that. Side note, I did want to say when y'all were talking about the Special Olympics, we just hosted the truck convoy for the Special Olympics at the South Carolina State Fairgrounds, and I think that they raised over $100,000 for that event, so it's a great event, so great organization. So anyway, this is from Jim Tucker about the fair industry. Fairs provide a unique opportunity to families to have fun. The foundation of fairs, which is agricultural education, reinforces the values of a work ethic and honest competition. Fairs are more crucial to the well-being of their communities than ever. In today's world, with the lure of high-def laptops, smartphones, and social media, fairs are the one opportunity for people to gather together and share the kinds of moments that remind us why community and family are what matters the most. Fairs are the real world, where our food comes from, how to improve it, what it takes to sustain a planet's nutritional needs. They're also a celebration of who we are, what we do, and where we live. Fairs are about families of every color and configuration, music for every age, rides for risk takers, and those pronto pups, fist fries, and elephant ears you can't imagine resisting, all part of the ritual of the fair. Stroll the aisles of high school photography of quilts made from months of a life running out of time, of blackberry jelly jars born from deliberation and love, of poems by sixth graders that will make you wonder, and watercolors that you didn't know your neighbor could paint. View the livestock barns and watch a kid, hip bone high, coats and uncooperative jersey, around a show ring, and then try to keep his hooves in place for the judge's inspection. At night, as the farm kids fall asleep near stalls guarding their sheep or cattle, you wonder if there's something your own kids might have missed out on all along. You can't read this one in a book. You can't find it on a city street. You have to lay eyes on it. You have to taste it. You have to touch it and smell it. You have to be there if you're going to really get it. Fairs are the connection between dinner on the table and the hard work ethic of farm production agriculture that keeps us fed. Fairs showcase that hard work ethic, and with every kid striving for excellence in the show ring, and every grandma bound to outdo last year's stack of ribbons for pies. When we throw open our gates this year for you folks at the South Carolina State Fair, we open a reservoir of experiences that create traditions upon which people build lives. Our community and our state will be there to absorb all these experiences. People's lives will be fuller, and we will have done our jobs well. I don't normally read things, but I just think that really says a lot about the fair industry and who we are. And I really have a passion for what we do, and your South Carolina State Fair is in its 156th year. So I will say this, on your table, there are some seed packets, and the seed packets are for you to share with those people that you like, and maybe with those people that you don't care for. I was just talking to some folks when I was passing them around. The theme of the fair is harvesting happiness, and fair's roots are in agriculture, so we're always striving for ways to get that point across. So you can even scan that little QR code on the back of those seed packets and see how you can maybe plant your own seeds. We gave them out much earlier. I will have to say we have some zinnias and lots of basil. The basil did really well. We had a lot of caprese salads at the fair, and even some sunflowers over there. So we encourage you to share your seeds of happiness with others. And that gave us a really good way to keep our agricultural roots alive, and as we just read about what fairs really mean to people overall, because we're all about planting memories and cultivating fun. We're all about tradition and excitement and really just harvesting that happiness, and we're where tradition really thrives and where smiles grow. So plant your seeds and share your seeds, and of course share with the people about the fair. It's coming October the 8th through the 19th. And I think, have we already given out the other little Cersei? Okay, so everyone now in this room is without excuse, because they all you have a ticket to the fair. Of course, in our marketing background, we know you would not dare come to the fair by yourself, because you probably need to bring your family and friends. So October the 8th through the 19th. So we hope that you enjoy your South Carolina State Fair. And as I told you earlier, I always seem to talk about this thing in the same rotation when I go to speak with people about the fair. But many of us in the room already know about the fair. One thing that I want you to know, and I always think it's very important if you don't take anything else from here, is that we're the South Carolina State Fair, but your fair is not a state-supported organization. We're a 501c3, and we are always all about giving back to the community. The fair is a large event, but we also do things at the fairgrounds called tailgate at the Rock, and a little thing called football parking there. And then we have facility rentals, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later on, but it's really I see the fair in kind of three buckets. But the fair, of course, is, I always say, the tail that wags our dog. That's our big event, and I think it's important to know a little bit of history about the fair. We won't get into all of it, but we're 156 years old. We were founded in 1869. We are the State Agricultural and Mechanical Society of South Carolina, doing business as the South Carolina State Fair. We were granted a charter in 1869 to hold an annual agricultural exhibition. Oh, that's a big mouthful. And of course, when that first got started, it was farmers coming to show their wares and the equipment and everything that they had. And as time went on, they call it the women's department was added with what we now call the home and craft. Food was always a part of that. Not as big as it is now, but then later on, as time changed, rides were added later on. But we've been around for quite a few years. Our first location was on Elmwood Avenue in 1869, where Logan School is today. And when we celebrated our 150th birthday in 2019, some of the staff and I were really excited to be able to go to Logan and talk to all those young folks there, and we were able to tell them this is where the fair started. And there was a horse race, there was a track around there. Probably some of y'all know that history better than I. But it was very exciting to go and share that with them. But we moved to our current location right across the street in 1904. We've been there for quite a while. The fair is really kind of Billy would agree with this, we're just kind of a horse of a different color, I guess. I don't know. When we talk to people, insurance people and others, sometimes people don't really get us because we're kind of weird here. We go from 21 full-time employees, that includes employees in the offices that are right across the street there, and then also includes our maintenance department, which are the folks that really make this thing happen. But we go from 21 employees during the year, which we are right now, until about 3 weeks from now, that will be 500. And so we have a lot of change going on. Now that 500 does not include any of the folks with the concession people. They hire their own, the ride operators and all of that. A good many of those, 200, 230 or so, are Richland County Sheriff's Department deputies, fire marshal, and South Carolina Highway Patrol. But the weird thing about it is everybody says, well, how do y'all find all these people? And I guess the people are kind of like me, because I started taking vacation from a real job in 1984 to work at the fair. And I actually started in the home and craft department where the baked goods were. I OD'd on caramel cake that time, but I did get over it. I was supposed to be helping the judges, but I seemed like I snitched a little bit more than I should have. That's not a really good thing to do for like 8 hours during the day. But anyway, I started full-time in 2000 when then manager Gary Goodman asked me if I wanted a full-time position with the fair. And I've always said it's never been a job for me. It's always been a career. And I've really been pretty much I'm a working person. I think Billy would agree with that. I kind of OD on it sometimes too, but it is something to be said about having a career as opposed to a job, because it really is a passion, and it's a great feeling. So current location in 1904, we do some different things and go from the 21 people to 500 during fair time. And you can imagine in 1904, from being there in 1904 to now, how the landscape has really, really changed. So I wanted to tell you a few dates in my mind that stick out that I think really changed the perception of the fair for the folks in Columbia and in South Carolina. I think the first one that really started it for me was in 2009, started in 2009, completed in 2010, was our parking lot project. At that time, it was just, all dirt out there. We redid that parking lot, and we have some grass out there. We have several hundred trees in the parking lot. It is now known as the Lexington Medical Center Fair Park, and we're pleased to partner with them for that. But at that same time, we put a wrought iron fence around the fairgrounds, took down the old chain link fence. And to me, that really started the beautification of the fairgrounds in that area. It was a new look for it. Shortly after that, we partnered with the Penny Tax Project, and we did the sidewalk project on Bluff Road. We said we didn't know how needful that was, especially after a football game when you're walking along and there could be a ditch and you're probably not walking quite as straight as you were when you started. But anyway, we're very thankful that we have sidewalks there, and inside scoop or not, I'm sure you've read about it, but now there is a project hopefully completed in 2026 or maybe 2027 now to put the sidewalk around the rest of the fairgrounds. But that's not done yet, so we're working on that, but we're excited about that. And then in 2016, we built the Goodman Building, which joins the Canty Building, and that gives us about 80,000 square feet under one roof. We'll talk about how good that is and what that means a little bit later on. And then since that time, we've been doing a lot of other enhancements to our grounds overall. We have moved the wrought iron fence all the way around the fairgrounds now. And I think even on this side, on the north end of the fairgrounds, right across the road here, when we redid, at the same time we did the Goodman Building in 2016, we also had a new entrance to our north gate of the fairgrounds. And all of that, at the same time doing the marquee at the corner of Rosewood and Assembly, just was really a good look for us. And I think some people, they frowned a little bit on the way the fairgrounds looked at one time, but we get a lot of compliments on that now. So, and one thing that we've really been working on, a new thing for the South Carolina State Fair, before we get into all the fun of the fair, is facility rentals. That's, we do football parking, we also do facility rentals, but we have also started that. You can come to the fairgrounds and rent the facility. We now have pipe and drape and everything right there. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. Again, we have the other thing that we have that no one else has in Columbia is parking. The big word that starts with the P, parking. We have 4,058 spaces there, as I said. So, if you're ever thinking about where you'd like to host your event, just remember we have that across the street over there for you. And we would be happy to help you with that. But that's something new, and we're very excited about it. Our maintenance staff does all of that, and it's really gone over well. So, I talk about the fair a lot. As Billy said, he said I was going to talk about this a little bit later on. I'll talk about what we're doing at the fair, and in 12 days, everybody knows we're in October. It's just what are the days, what's the fun excitement, what's the entertainment, which we're going to get to all of that. Of course, food and rides and all of that, but I think sometimes people don't really understand the fair industry overall. So as Billy said, we are a member of an international association, the IAFE, International Association of Fairs and Expositions. We have in that organization, there are about 2,000 member fairs and about 1,000 associates, which would be our ride operators, our carnival operators, ticketing, insurance, anything that has to do with fairs, entertainers. So it's quite a big deal. We have a convention every year. Billy's been to that for these many years. I think I'm on 25 now, but anyway, I've been around a while. And trivia, Billy mentioned it. I think we're probably one of the only fairs in that organization that can say this, but we have had two managers, Gary Goodman and then myself. We were both chair of the IAFE. And that's really nice, not just for your South Carolina State Fair, but for South Carolina overall. The IAFE is our umbrella organization. And I think something about fairs that needs to be known is too that we're not in competition with each other. We only strive to learn from each other. So one of the fairs, we just finished visiting the Washington State Fair. They have a beautiful fair. If you've never been, I would say you need to check that one out too. But we go there and find different ideas. Our lunch bunch that we have in our fair now, and weekday during the fair, that's all over the country now at other fairs. So, and we actually copied the flagpole and doing the national anthem every day during the fair from another fair that we went to visit. So we're not in competition with each other. We just stand to learn from each other. But recently, our industry knew that we needed to try to really put some concrete numbers behind what we do. And these numbers are, we had people from all the fairs in the United States, not outside, not in Canada or outside, just in the United States. And of those, this was 1,400 fairs that they surveyed and did an economic impact study on. And out of those, the annual fairs, just the fairs in those areas in the United States, have a $30 billion economic impact on the local economy. And then if you take like what the fair does all year round for other fairs, like for our facility rentals and our football parking, if they have everything on the grounds, those fairs give back $52 million, that have a $52 million economic impact. Your fair, and we haven't had one done in a while, it's time for us to do a new economic impact study. We have a $45.5 million economic impact. A lot of that is from salaries around. And this year, with our Harvesting Happiness theme, we also had a little poster board done that we took around all the media and some other places around town, and they have these figures, but it just says that we've been around 150 years. We'll talk about what's most important is the fact that I said we're a 501c3. We're not state supported, but one of the greatest things I think we do is our Brighten Your Life Scholarship Fund. And since about the last decade, we've given back almost $6 million in scholarships to graduating seniors that attend an in-state school or university. This year we did $530,000. Those folks are, the scholarships are awarded throughout each congressional district. So when you see those scholars, you're seeing a big picture of what South Carolina is all about. So those are some numbers that I think are important for you to remember. The $45.5 million economic impact, $16.6 million of that is in wages. And we've been around, we do $300,000 in competitive exhibits. We give awards to our photography and fine art and those caramel cakes and all of that. Those are called our competitive exhibits. So we have competitive exhibitors from every county in the state of South Carolina represented. So when you come to your South Carolina State Fair, you're looking at, a little bit, a whole picture of what South Carolina is all about. Just a few other bragging rights about the South Carolina State Fair. We have a top 50 fair list with the IAFE. We're number 39 out of that. Now, California's county fairs are some of them, and their county fairs are larger than our state fair, but we're about 400,000 over our 12-day run. But I think the most exciting bragging rights were just recently.
Apparently she's getting a call. No, the lady whose Bluetooth would go.
Okay. I guess they wanted to hear that exciting news. Okay. Okay. The exciting news is that USA Today did a survey, and people could vote on the top 10 fairs. So your South Carolina State Fair made the top 10, but not only that, but we were in the top 5. We were top 5 fairs. Now I have to tell you that in the fair industry, you're always going to hear Minnesota State Fair, Iowa State Fair, it kind of comes out of our ears. But anyway, this is exciting news. Minnesota was number 1, yes, Iowa was 2, Wisconsin was 3, Texas was 4, South Carolina was number 5. So that was and the real deal about that is that all of them at least have 1 million people, and 3 of them have, 2 have over 2 million, and 1 has just about 2 million, and we have 404,864 to be specific, because that's last year's fair. So I just think it's important that we think sometimes about the fair. Oh, the fair comes down for 12 days and we go away. A lot of people think we're state supported, and we're not. But we really do, we're here all year round, and we really do make a difference, like when we were talking about the truck convoy and giving back to the community and things like that. We really do, we give back to the community a lot. So now you're probably saying, okay, Billy, why did you ask this lady to talk? I don't want to hear about all that. I just want to hear about what's happening at the fair this year. Ooh, I do need to hurry, don't I? 1:30, I'm out of here. Okay. All right, so 2025 South Carolina State Fair is Harvesting Happiness, and I just want to go over a few things that we're doing. Whew, I didn't know I could talk that long, but anyway. So I wanted to highlight a few things. The most, I think, important one this year, our most exciting one, is that next year is our 250th anniversary. of our great nation. And so we've partnered with the SC 250 Commission, and we're going to have a great exhibit in the roof building that will take up the entire building. It will be very interactive. This is going to be a signature event. They're going to take this event on the road after it leaves the South Carolina State Fair. You'll be able to come in, maybe sign the Declaration of Independence, learn about Francis Marion, Rebecca Mott, and some other great folks in there. It's going to be very interactive. And just a great exhibit, because that's another way that the South Carolina State Fair, we know that we need to come and have fun. We're a tradition, but it's also an educational experience. The other exhibit that we're having this year is Anne Frank exhibit. It will be in the balcony of the Canty Building. We've not had an exhibit in the balcony of the Canty Building in a while, but this is an exhibit that can be a traveling exhibit that came to the University of South Carolina, so we're partnering with them to have that. The folks will be there. They'll be doing tours, and it's a very moving exhibit, and you might think, well, maybe that's not really appropriate for fair, but we really strive, as that letter said, if we're doing everything that we should be doing right, anyone from the tiniest baby to the greatest grandparents should be able to come to our fair and enjoy everything that they have to see. So those are two really signature events that we're going to have this year at the fair. We're also having a celebrity chef, Sandra Lee. I don't know how many of you know Sandra Lee. She has a Blue Ribbon Bake Off Challenge on Netflix. She'll be with us on the 8th and the 9th. So you can come check that out. She's also a breast cancer survivor, so she's going to be helping us promote our Prison Health Walk for Life this year. And we're having a big celebration on October the 9th to celebrate the SC 250 and the South Carolina State Fair. Just a few of those things that we're doing. We're also having our Heritage Village. When you come in the Hampton Plaza there, that's another really good educational exhibit for how America was made with the tinsmith and the blacksmith and room makers and all of that. We have lots of people on the Pepsi Play stage this year. Billy, unfortunately, Elvis is not making it this year, but we're going to have the Beach Boys. We have a little bit of bluegrass, or if you like country, we have gospel, we have some Latin soul. We're going to have good entertainment this year, more entertainment like we did last year at the North Gate of the fairgrounds. And we beefed that up a lot last year, and it worked well, so we'll be doing that again. Some weird things that you can only find at the fair. On the Academic Avenue stage, we're having a chainsaw joke. Where else but at the South Carolina State Fair can you find that? So, but he will be there. His name is appropriately Mad Chad, and he will be there. And I think, Billy, you've seen him maybe at our IAFE convention, so he'll be doing that. We're having the circus at the fair this year again. Paul Bunyan, the lumberjack guy, will be at the south gate of the fair. Swifty Swine Racing Pigs, we cannot have the fair without the Swifty Swine Racing Pigs. They have to be a part of the fair. We're having the petting zoo. We're having a balloon guy this year who does these like 12 and 15 foot tall balloon sculptures. He'll be in the Goodman building, and he's going to be having a farm scene that might look something like, a big old stalk of broccoli with, something around in there. And then he's doing, after that, a merry-go-round. So our theme has given us an opportunity to really keep the agricultural aspect of the fair alive. So just some of the things that you wouldn't be able to see other than at the fair. The Mariachi Divas, that's another traveling group of folks that are coming to the fair, and they are, they were there about 10 years ago. They've not been there in a while. Then we have some people that have been there for forever, like Dennis Lee. He's been in his 47th year. He's a mime, and he's also performing on the stage. Last year, we started something that is right along with our agricultural roots, the South Carolina Grown Marketplace, where everything in there has to be made, grown, or sown in South Carolina. So that is that's something that we're really promoting this year, and we're hoping that you can come in there and buy some of your yummy baked goods in there, or whatever you buy in there is going to be made, grown, or sown in South Carolina. And then, of course, in case y'all are wondering, we do have a few new foods this year at the fair. Everybody is wondering what the new food is. Well, we have like 15. I'm not going into all of those. We don't have time for that. But we had the deep fried taco last year. This time we have some Jim's French fries with all kind of stuff on it. We have Brody's mac and cheese. I can't believe after all these years we've never had mac and cheese at the South Carolina State Fair, but you might find some barbecue or something else on those fries. We have a Cantina Louie, another Mexican restaurant, Surf and Turf Alfredo Sundae, cotton candy lemonade. The one that I think I'm most excited about is a big pork tenderloin. It's kind of like a schnitzel. It's really thin, it's breaded, deep fried, of course. But you can find it between a bun with lettuce, tomato, pickle, and you can kind of have it your way. It's been around at the other fairs, but we're looking forward to enjoying that. The one that I'll have to say I'm really not really sure about is one called the Campfire Burger. It's a 1/3 of a pound Angus burger, topped with baked beans, and then Gouda cheese, and a slice of a hot dog on top of that. But to me, that seems like a can of bean wings. I did have those growing up, but anyway, I can't quite put my mouth around that one. The other one that I think is going to be good is a Reuben sandwich pizza. I'm interested to try this. How many of you had the pickle pizza at the fair? Have any of you tried the dill pickle pizza at the fair? It was with the Alfredo sauce. It was really pretty good. That guy's Spaghetti Eddie, so that thing went crazy. So he's trying to outdo himself. So this year he's doing a Reuben sandwich pizza. It has corned beef, sauerkraut, melted cheese, and of course some Thousand Island dressing, to make sure that you get all that straight in there together. So, and then we're having a deep fried cheesecake trio. We'll be doing that. Of course, we have our cookies at our Pro Kitchen, is our neighbor right up the street. It's the Pro Kitchen Cookie Kitchen this year. We are partnering with Oliver Gospel Mission again to do the coffee. They'll be selling their coffee, but we have a partnership that this is the first time we've done this. Oliver Gospel Mission is going to be running the cookie kitchen. Now, they've done that cookie kitchen for 2 years, so they should know what they're getting into. But those are the kind of partnerships that we really like to cultivate at the fair. So they're looking forward to it. If you've never not been to the cookie kitchen, everybody says you can get your cookies and milk, and then you can have a great cup of coffee and support a great cause with the Oliver Gospel Mission. So that's in the Rosewood area. Just all kinds of fun stuff going on at the fair. As I said, the circus will be back. It's a whole different show this year. That was something that we brought to the fair in 2019. At one time, we had the big grandstand there, and it was really not doing that well. We were trying to find something that would be good for everyone. So the circus has done well so far, so it will be back this year with some great acts, and we're looking forward to y'all coming and enjoying that as well. So. And also rides, I forgot to say about rides. We'll have a few new rides at the fair this year. The 150-foot celebration wheel will be back, along with a couple of new rides, and one of them is brand new. Like, I think we're going to be the first one having that. So I don't even know what the thing does, but I know I'm probably not going to ride it. But anyway. I ride the Sky Glider. The Sky Glider is my favorite ride. I love to get on the Sky Glider when it's night. Kind of the end of the night, and you can ride that thing from one side of the fairgrounds to the other, and you can do all those concession stands are there, all that wonderful aroma, and you can see all the lights and hear all the people kind of shrieking or laughing or having a good time. But that's one of my favorite rides. But I'm not into all the thrill rides like that. So, but that's just a little snippet of some things that are that will be coming to your South Carolina State Fair this year. Again, we're very excited to partner with SC250, and that's going to be an ongoing exhibit in the next few years. I think we're probably one of the last fairs before July time limit is up of next year when we really celebrate our anniversary. But we got to scoop a little bit of heads up on it. So just to remind you, I think one thing that I always really like to say is that when you come to the fair, you can know that you're making a difference in South Carolina's future, because part of those yummy cookies, or maybe if it's that campfire burger, that I'm probably not going to try that one either, but if you do, you can know you're making a difference. I know when we have an opportunity to award those 50, we actually did 53 scholarships. I think that's one of my favorite things to do, is to talk to those young folks and ask them if they have to attend an in-state school or university. So when they say yes, I'm still going in-state school because of your help, and we thank you for it. So it really does make a difference. I always say we're a self-supporting charitable organization dedicated to educating South Carolina's young adults and promoting agriculture throughout the state. We've been around for 156 years. We have a fabulous board, and I do thank Billy. I do know in our industry there are others who don't have a really, really great board like I get to enjoy, but we really do. The people that are with the South Carolina State Fair, you have a fabulous staff there. You know, I don't know of another organization really that can take a blank, a blank palette there and then just put it all together in a few days. And that really is how I got my start there. And I think that's one thing that just really thrilled me about it, is to go into a 20,000 square foot building that's empty, and then in a few days it's all ready for the fair. But just remember that, you know, you're making a difference. We give back. Not only do we give back, to the scholarship fund, but we also, last year it was Hurricane Helene. Whatever's going on in the state of South Carolina, we give back. We gave back $200,000 to those areas in South Carolina that were affected by the hurricane. Before that, it was the flood, and then, we've had food drives and things such as that, and we give discounts to nonprofits throughout the state that come and rent our facilities too. So just know when you come to your South Carolina State Fair this year that you are helping to harvest some happiness. And it really is more than just about agriculture. It really is about the difference that we're making in people's lives. I think when I was thinking about Rotary, you folks are a service organization, and we're a servant organization as well. We're here to serve, and I think that's why it's so important to know a little bit about us. Our big deal is for 12 days, but we're over there working it and making a difference in the community, just like you folks are. And it was an honor to be able to speak to you today. And I hope you will take your tickets and plant your seeds of happiness, and take your tickets and come to the South Carolina State Fair. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and you hit it right on the head. Right at 1:25. So next week's speaker, I know Derek's going to be real happy about seeing this guy. It's going to be Scott Garvin from Garvin Design Group, and we're going to attempt to close the meeting in song virtually. So please jump in and sing with me.
Yes,